split screen. Say good morning to my dear friend and touring partner and everything else, Natalia Zukerman. Thanks for getting up so early this morning, but you're an early riser anyway.
I am. This was particularly early, but I actually woke up on my very own accord.
That's excellent.
For the accord car in my driveway.
Car. What?
The accordion?
The accordion. Yeah. So welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. And you're the first guest on Wisdom Wednesdays for a couple of reasons. One, this evening you're also the guest on Soul Sessions, and you helped put it, not helped, you put it all together. So I want to thank you for the production of them. It's going to be so fun. But you'll be singing too and sharing some inspirations there. You know, one of the most inspirational people I know, just by being around you, something that I value highly is laughter, especially in adverse times, in appropriate measure. Like you don't want to laugh in some places, but tell me about your spiritual practice and where you find that internal joy. Where do you draw from?
Well, you bring it out in me. We create that together. So I don't know that I'm always a joy basket, but my mother has her new thing these days has been saying, we must be of good cheer. I don't know where yesterday I said, where did you get that from? Like, are you watching Merchant Ivory movies? We must be of good cheer. Mustn't we? But the answer is like, yeah. I mean, stuff is real and it's heavy. And I'm not, I think neither of us ever shy away from all the feelings. It's dwell in that. Sometimes you have to, but you got to get what Annie, my friend Annie, Shoot Annie, calls an up and out. Get up and out of it, and it's not a place I want to live in. So my spiritual practice, it's interesting. That's more a sense of peace and calm and just inner equanimity. But certainly being able to remember that this isn't it. To be remind yourself that on a daily basis and connect with something greater than yourself.
Do you think being an artist, you're one of the most prolific artists I know, and
you don't know that many people.
Well, of the 10 people I know, you're like them. Some people would say, "Well, you have it easy because you're a musician. You always hear music in your head." So, do you think everybody is inherently creative? I say everybody, but maybe they don't realize how creative they are with the things they do, and that they're tapping into it all the time. Like if you like to cook, just knowing what to grab next to throw in there that would make that thing pop. How would you bridge that? You teach a lot of creativity classes and inspire people to learn how to tap into that source. If somebody was listening this morning and said, well, that's because she's so creative, she could find the realization that you're always tapped in. How would you help them build a little bridge to the awareness of, so can you?
Yeah, you watch any baby, right? Baby human, and they're playing either with their feet or something around them, and none of that filter. I don't know how to do that until, unfortunately, it's usually some experience with a teacher or somebody told you you don't know how to draw, or you should stop singing, whatever it is. So sometimes actually just locating where that feeling is important in the process of trying to remember, oh, you know what? My older brother used to make fun of me all the time or something, and like just have a moment of thank you. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
I know how to access that. And then truly practice, the thing that you want to know how to do. I think, do we all know how to draw? Yes. Do we all know how to draw something realistically? There's rules, there's rules for rules of perspective and shading and things like this. And you can definitely learn inspiration behind that. That's something else. So what you want to say is totally wholly your own, but is it accessible to the human brain to learn how to translate this line into a line on a piece of paper? Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say in another way, this is the way my brain works with what you just said so beautifully, is this whole spirit, mind, body connection, gathering or being made aware of an inspiration as it comes through, but then being able to pull it through the consciousness of your mind, distill it in a way, and then pulling it into the body and having working knowledge of how to move your body in a way like a dancer would, to be able to put that line on a page. The way you see it there is the way it will show up here. And that takes practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think about
that sort of practice also in not always editing yourself. Just go for it and have a long, what did Susan Werner call it recently? Like a long failure runway. You need like an airplane needs a long runway.
nice.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of space to fail.
Mm-hmm. So it only fails if you stop though, right? Like if you're in an investor, it's only a realized loss if you pull your money out when things are down. If you just leave it in there and ride it out a little bit, it can take off again. It's an unrealized what?
Numbers. Yeah.
Numbers, Ananda. I know. I'm just trying to think of all these different ways it just that it shows up. It's only a failure if you don't try again. I
really do like that notion that there's something Elizabeth Gilbert talks about in her Big Magic book, and that incredible podcast or TED Talk. If you haven't seen it, it's called The Elusive Creative Muse. The idea that before a certain time, people had a genius. You were not a genius. You had something almost like a little gnome that would visit you, and that her whole concept is that it's this very onerous thing to say that people are geniuses because it's too much pressure. And also, talks about this idea that there are ideas, and you have to be available to hear the call.
Yeah.
So you have to, as my grandfather would say, apply your ass to the chair.
What did he say?
Apply your ass to the chair.
Right.
Show up.
Yeah.
And listen. And otherwise, it's going to go find somebody else.
Yeah, so I love the idea that you're bringing up here. Is I did not read that book, but I've been aware of that field for a long time, as most of us are. I like the way she articulated it, as I hear it from other people. One of the things I remembered learning in meditation, so you and I are both meditators, I was instructed to go beyond that field to where pure consciousness resides. And when you tap into that, then come back through that realm where all of the ideas are floating around, you pull from a different vibratory rate of those offerings. Like you could get a higher resonance from something on your way. And it's not up or down or through, it's just you get to a place of pure vibration. Then when you're coming through, you grab ideas that are they're all worthy of being brought here. That's why they were around. But you just grab different ones of a different rate of vibration. And when you sing them back to people, they hit them in a way that they can't even move. I think I like that because it feels like we help people establish a discipline to stop thinking, to stop moving, and just be still in consciousness. So I love the whole idea of, I don't know, the imaginal realm. Einstein talked about it too. It's all right there.
When you're so picturing that you were saying, it's not up or down. This the sort of parallel or the words are not in my brain yet. Simultaneous existence, but that maybe it's also taking the ideas in the conscious realm and filtering them back through the super conscious realm and saying, does this qualify? Sometimes that's part of your job as a filterer, as somebody who's gathering that inspiration to say, does this reside in that realm? That will it translate that other level of consciousness to people?
Yeah.
You're not thinking about that necessarily when you're making a thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Otherwise, it's probably not going to be very good.
Yeah. You'll be on that failure runway for a long time.
You did what?
You'll be on the failure runway for a long time. You'll be like, ugh. I would refer to it too as likening it to just allowing those ideas to come. Just let them flow and flow and flow. Kind of like when you step into a shower, you turn the water on and you let it run for a while so the cold water comes out of the pipes. You stick your hand in to see when the warm water is there, then you step into the shower. Most people don't like to take cold showers that I know of on purpose. They don't do it. But it's like that too with just allow the flow to keep happening, right? Just let it come through. And I like the idea you're bringing up of listening. So it's not just that some people have it and some people don't. It's more that some people listen more. Or I wouldn't even say it's like artists have the luxury of that kind of time, because we certainly work pretty hard. You've got to really make that time, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make excuses for why you need that time.
Yeah.
And then I think we were discussing this the other day, just like, God, you get cranky. There's something missing. It's like if you have a regime, if you're not exercising, if you're not eating your vegetables, if you're not practicing your instrument, if you're not doing the things that make you who you are in this human incarnation.
Yeah. So now you're talking about balance. Yeah.
Yeah. And then these days, it's in some ways easier to find it. Yes, there's more time and space in your day, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And to stay disciplined, I'm finding, is a way to retain any sense of joy and balance.
What was the quote? Discipline is the art of discipline is, or discipline is the art of having what you want. Somebody said that hundreds of years ago. That's stuck into my brain. Some people have this relationship with discipline. That word spins them out. How can you make it more palatable? Okay. Not that that's your job. I mean, I think.
Because it feels like something you have to do, like schoolwork, and it's not fun. There's something really fun about discipline, that it gives you this other freedom. If you learn as a ballerina, you have to learn all the positions, and you have to also work at your different musculature so that you can fly around the stage and not think about it.
Yeah.
So I understand. Yeah. Discipline. Oh, I have to do how many sit-ups?
Right.
But yeah, if you want to not have a pain in your lower back.
Anyway.
Thank
you for joining us. Okay, so let's record one now. I'm totally kidding.
Make some more coffee.
Makeup. You got a shiny spot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I thank you for joining me this morning, and tonight at 7:00, from 7 to almost 8:00, 7:45-ish, we're going to be launching soul sessions, music, meditation, and inspirational poetry, with periods of silence, meditation, just going within. Speaking of poetry, you told me you were reading some David White this morning. Would you like to read a piece of something that's...
I really would.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which book are you reading from?
A book called Consolations: The Solace, Nourishment, and Underlining Meaning of Everyday Words.
Nice.
Sometimes I'll just, go to the glossary, the contents, and choose a word that's sticking out to me today. So, okay, if I were to give you 3: heartbreak, honesty, joy.
Joy.
Lisa chose joy. I wasn't sure which one. Go to page 1, please, in your hymnal.
Yeah. Joy, joy, joy. I got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart, because I've got coffee down in my belly. I'm awake now.
Excellent.
Excellent.
This is joy.
Okay.
Joy is a meeting place of deep intentionality and of self-forgetting. The bodily alchemy of what lies inside us in communion with what formerly seemed outside, but is now neither, but become a living frontier, a voice speaking between us and the world. Dance, laughter, affection, skin touching skin, singing in the car, music in the kitchen, the quiet, irreplaceable, and companionable presence of a daughter.
We use that word every day.
7 times a letter. The sheer intoxicating beauty of the world inhabited as an edge between what we previously thought was us and what we thought was other than us. Joy can be made by practiced, hard-won achievement as much as by an unlooked-for passing act of grace arrived out of nowhere. Joy is a measure of our relationship to death and our living with death. Joy is the act of giving ourselves away before we need to or are asked to. Joy is practiced generosity. If joy is a deep form of love, it is also the raw engagement with the passing seasonality of existence, the fleeting presence of those we love understood as gift, going in and out of our lives, faces, voices, memory, aromas of the first spring day or a wood fire in winter, the last breath of a dying parent as they create a rare, raw, beautiful frontier between loving presence and a new and blossoming absence. To feel a full and untrammeled joy is to have become fully generous. To allow ourselves to be joyful is to have walked through the doorway of fear. The dropping away of the anxious, worried self felt like a thankful death itself, a disappearance, a giving away. Overheard in the laughter of friendship, the vulnerability of happiness felt suddenly as a strength, a solace and a source, the claiming of our place in the living conversation, the sheer privilege of being in the presence of a mountain, a sky, or a well-loved familiar face. I was here and you were here, and together we made a world.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Thanks, mister.
David White. That was phenomenal. Great. Natalia Zukerman, thank you so much for joining me this morning for our launch. I love you so much. I appreciate your wisdom and your joy. Yeah. Here's to you. Cheers. Cheers. I'm glad it's coffee. We know which hour it is. Nice mug.
Hello, Dolly.
This is my Virgo mug. I've had this forever. I love it. And we'll see you tonight on Soul Sessions for more of this. Conversations like this are going to begin today, but then they'll be every Wednesday. SoulCallMinistries.org. You can find all the archives under the live stream button. We might even start live streaming them next week. Cool. Look at that. I'm going to read some tutorials. Have the discipline to read and the freedom to express in real time. All right. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.